Okay, here we are. We are back with I'm Not Trying to Kill You, and we're playing Full of Magic. We have our lovely team. Have I got them in the right audio? I do.
You do?
What I'll do is I'll get everyone to give themselves a little intro quickly, and then we'll talk about the game and get into it and like recap what happened last time and all those sorts of things. Emily, do you want to tell us about yourself, pronouns, what you do, stuff like that?
Sure. Hi, I'm Emily. I'm Blackwall Says on Twitter. I'm a filmmaker and an artist. She, her pronouns, please.
Yep. My name's Carrie. I'm Red19 on Twitter. She, her pronouns, and I work in IT.
Sorry. I'm Jess. I'm the reason we're late. I am a psychology cognitive researcher and games critic, and yeah, I am Zamet Jess on Twitter. She, her pronouns.
Cool.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So we're playing Full of Magic. Yeah, we got there. We're playing Full of Magic, which is a GM-less game. We each have our own characters, and we also like sharedly control the Magus. And we're traveling across. Where's the little thing? I'll see if I can find that. Magic is dying, and the Magus is dying with it. We travel together to the realm of Umbra, where magic was born. So we've currently left Ravenhall. We've travelled through the Oak Hills and Barleytown. And then we've gone through the Stormguard Mountains and found ourselves at Castle Stormguard, where there was a lot of drama. And now, I think, we have our 4 characters. We have River, who is the midwife of Barleytown, and she is kind. We have Fawn, who is the crab singer of Estalia. We met, was it Claude the crab last time?
Yep, Claude. Yep.
Yeah. And Elamura, who is the fugitive of Stormguard, and she is fierce. And Emily is playing Caspian, the Golem of Ravenhall. So we've finished in Castle Stormguard. We've discovered the history of Elamura, and the secret of the child of Alana Storm, the children of Alana Stormqueen, both secrets. Sorry.
Bless you.
And bless me. It's time. I think it's time for us to move on. So.
Oh, and the other thing that happened at Castle Stormguard was Fawn had an encounter with electrical powers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
that's right.
Storm from X-Men now.
Yeah,
Now I have super cool storm lightning powers, so it's gonna be a fun time.
Yep. You're muted.
I can hear Jess kind of echoey. Like, does she sound kind of like double to anybody, or is that just to me?
Maybe it's. I don't know.
Oh,
Okay.
roll 20 maybe.
Maybe.
I checked though. Oh no, it's back.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what it is. Cool. All right. Easy then.
Yep. Better?
Yep. That's it.
Alright.
Got it. Sweet.
All right. Well, I have a choice to make that, seeing as it is my turn, as we finished on Jess last time. And I have to make a choice. Are we going to take the ice rail or the mouth of the deep? So, either a debt you owe or what lights your way. I like caves. I'm a dungeon master at heart. We've got to go to the caves. The mouth of the deep. What lights your way? So I think we see the Magus on her pony, as we're like approaching this like huge cavernous like cave entrance that like at the like base of the Stormguard Mountains. There's just this section where what would be a valley just continues on into the mountains, where it's where the like the opening of the cave is so wide that there isn't any like point at which it becomes a cave. It just continues in, and there are like just like the further in you go, the more bats there are and things like this. And I think now the question is, I mean, we definitely go into the cave at some point.
I assumed we have to go through the cave.
I mean, let's reveal a little more, because it's not specific about that.
Of course not.
Okay.
In that, from here, we have two directions to go from the mouth of the deep.
Okay.
We can either go north out of here or down into the cave, into the under place. And
Oh,
might
I
have a name,
see.
but it's on a different screen. Let me have a look. and see
Okay.
what it's called.
Interesting.
It is called loading. I can't remember what the name of the whole side of the map is, but basically there's a yeah, we go to the other side of the map. So we turn our scroll over and go to there instead. But yeah, so we have that choice. But I think either way we enter into the mouth of the deep. Whether or not we travel further into it is up to us. I think the mouth of the deep is a tunnel that we have to pass through that can, like, from that tunnel we can go further in. And I think we see, like, there are all of these bat-like creatures hanging from the roof of this cave as we start to approach it. And the Magus turns to, I think, Caspian, and says, "It will be dark in these caverns, and the kobolds," and she, like, gestures towards the bat-like creatures that are like halfling sized. She's like, the kobolds, they fear the light. At least we can use that to keep ourselves safe. Do you have anything that we can use?
And she's asking
asking
Caspian. Yeah. So Caspian, like, looks down at their hands for a moment, and I think there's still kind of like some soot on their palms from, like, the time in the cave where they conjured flame. And yeah, so they, like, look down at their hands, and they look back at her, and they nod, and they sign, like, "I'll need some firewood."
Cool. She's I think she, like, looks up at the others. She's like, I think she, like, looks up and she's like, "Well, we better collect it quickly. Like, the night is setting in. Maybe we can travel a bit during the dark." And yeah, I think River, like, you know, sets off and, like, kind of drags someone else with her to go and find some firewood. And I think that's
Yep.
that's what we see.
Elamura can go along and
Cool.
help with that.
Right.
Yep.
So I think that's what we see is, like, I think we cut back, and I want to know what does it look like as Caspian, like, makes this flame.
Yeah. So I think they kind of like take the firewood that the other two bring back, and kind of like turn themselves away, to kind of like as though doing something sort of secret, and then like we see the sort of flame, like just a small flame kind of like blossom out of the palm of their hand, and there's definitely like you see the glow of it along that seam that's like in their arms, sort of like travel down like toward their hand, before it kind of like comes out of the fingertips, and then they just kind of like hold it against this this piece of wood for a moment, until it lights, and then I think they probably light two of them and hand one to the Magus and hold the other, or no, maybe they probably hand it to like Elamura.
I think as
the Magus is sick.
That like the thing with the light and the seam, and like as it like comes forth from you, you just hear like the smallest cough from the Magus.
Okay. Interesting.
That's my turn. That makes it Emily's turn.
Right. So I need to choose a thing.
Yes.
I
so
think.
Be off the board.
Yes, but then it's so hard to get hold of. I'm going to just get hold of this one.
I'm just going to take these because I want them to.
Okay.
Yeah, so you've got Cave Dwellers, The Deep Way, and What Made This Cavern.
I think I'm going to go Cave Dwellers, seeing as you've conveniently introduced them. I reckon, because I'm thinking that those kobolds are the cave dwellers, of which to which this refers. So I need to roll for it.
No.
Is that right?
What you need to do is you need to tell the story of cave dwellers, include how they are like beasts, and then roll, and include what the roll is.
Okay. All right. So okay, gotcha. So I think like I think this scene takes place like during camp. Maybe we've seen them sort of like a montage of the group traveling through the dark, and through these kind of like underground rivers, and everything is like you can hear this sort of like deep like rumbling echo of running water and like underground waterfalls and things like that. That sort of doesn't seem to be coming from any clear direction. It's kind of reverberating around everywhere. And I think it's like maybe quite late in the night. And I think Caspian is on watch. But I think there's also someone else on watch. I think maybe Elamura is on watch with them. And the two of them are sort of sitting there in the quiet, having probably like they're quite sleepy by this point. And I think there's like a moment where the sound of the waterfall that appears to be nearest to them kind of like stops for a moment. Like the sound of it just sort of pauses, and then half a minute passes and it starts up again. I think the two of them notice that, and a little while after they hear like a sort of like some shuffling footsteps, and a creature like these ones that was hanging from the ceiling kind of like wanders out into like the firelight from the little campfire that they have. I think it's a very small campfire, so it's probably a very small amount of light. Could I ask Ash to play the creature? So I imagine this creature kind of like wanders into the firelight. Carrie, do you think like, how does Elamura react?
I think Elamura like pulls out her sword and just sort of prepares, like is ready to fight if needed, like it's just on guard.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it like wanders up on its it like inches closer on its like using its wings like from like 4 legs, and like it like gets its like dog like patchy furred face with the big wide eyes that are like nearly all pupil as they reflect like tapetum lucidum in the firelight, and like it like hears and like it probably hears the sound of steel more than sees what you're doing, and like just like turns towards you and like sniffs the air, and then like just kind of like tries to see if it can like back around towards the fire, like making a circle around you, not getting any closer.
Yeah, I think Caspian like puts out their hands as though like in the same gesture that we saw them do when they summoned the fire, but then they sort of pause and they look to like the body of the sleeping Magus, and they kind of hesitate. When should I roll the thing?
I mean, whenever you want there to be a resolution. I think that River is asleep, and I think that she has like she's like taken her like her boots and her socks off or whatever, and like placed them next to her thing, and it like goes over and it like grabs them up.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like as if this is the thing it came for.
I think I like Caspian looks to Elamura and like sort of signs anxiously, what should we do? Do we fight it?
Elamura signs back. Let's try talking first. And I guess because Elamura is the one who can talk out loud, she says to the creature, "Stop! What are you doing? Those are our belongings."
Boots.
Yes.
Boots for Ginger.
Sorry, I didn't hear that properly.
Boots for Ginger. And like holds them
Boots.
up to its chest.
Your name is Jinjin?
Yeah, it's like your name is Jinjin.
Yeah, Caspian just like
Okay.
looks to Elmora like wide-eyed, like
Yeah, I don't know either.
I think
Do you want to roll it?
yeah, I want to roll, and then we'll see if that further informs things. I have one other thought.
Yeah.
5. Okay, what keeps them at bay? I feel like that's the least interesting of those options. Ugh.
Same. I was hoping for 6.
I know, me too. Damn it. I mean, if it's holding the boots now and we scare it, it's just going to run away with the boots anyway.
Yeah.
So I think Caspian like reaches like slowly, kind of while like keeping an eye on it, reaches into their bag and pulls out like a piece of dried bread, like half stale bread or something, or like some dried meat, and like kind of holds it out and gestures like hand me
I think
those, I'll give you this.
I think like you and like say if not, but like I think you like cut a slice off with a knife, and it like its
Mhm.
eyes grow. It like its eyes kind of focus, and it does this thing where it like holds out the boots and holds out and holds out like one of its like wing hands as like trade.
Okay.
And it's very obviously not focusing on the food. It's definitely focusing
Yeah.
on the knife.
Okay. So I've got the food in one hand, and I've got the knife. If I put the knife like in my belt, does it still focus on that?
It's like it like looks around to try and like look at it.
Yeah. So
It's like, and it's
So
like,
here's how this
it's like-
goes,
and
though.
it's like, and it's like, Jinjin don't want stinky people food.
So because this is so it's put its hand out for the knife specifically, is what it seems like it's doing.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So because we rolled what keeps them at bay, Caspian like puts the food down and takes the knife back out of their belt and extends a hand so that they can like swap things over. And like I think we see as the audience like a close-up shot of like the fire running like down the seam in their arm in the hand that's holding the knife, and they like hold out the other hand for the boots and they hold out the knife, and by the time like the creature's hand like reaches for the knife, it's like almost like, you know, like burning hot, but not hot enough to be visible yet.
Yeah.
So when they take it, it's like burning hot. And then Caspian's gonna like just snatch the boots up.
And like and it grabs the knife and then like drops it and like screams and howls and it's like filthy boot wearers, and like flaps off into the sky, and like you and you just like you hear like flapping and like just like a rustling of like thousands of these things that are just above you in the dark where you can't see them, just like rustling, and you hear them like you hear this like cry of like filthy boot wearers, filthy outsiders, like just this like like echo runs across the cavern.
Yeah. So yeah, Caspian just like puts the knife like back in their belt and kind of like looks to Elamura and sort of like shrugs.
Yeah, and I think so. I mean, do we have like a central campfire and then all of us are sort of sleeping around it?
I think
Is
so.
that
That's kind of what I pictured. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Elamura's would be suggesting that perhaps we need to set like a couple of little campfires around you know, sort of around us to sort of, you know, because they can obviously approach the fire like more than we expected. So perhaps we need like a bit of a like a border.
I think Caspian signs back like we don't have very much wood, just enough to make more torches tomorrow.
True.
We'd
Okay.
need to find more
Good point.
or
good
burn
point.
something else.
Yeah. Okay, perhaps we just need to stay closer to the fire and keep close watch. Yeah. Okay.
Hopefully we've kept them at bay.
Yes.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
The question is, what has kept them at bay? Fire or trickery?
Yeah, exactly. Bit from column A, bit from column B.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah.
Carrie, do
Okay,
you have a
cool.
turn?
I'm done.
All right. So for me, I think I'm going to go to the cavern. And so this could be the next day. As we move on, we encounter this massive cavern, and it's like, you know, it looks like it'd take at least an hour to traverse it, and like it seems as if perhaps some sort of massive sort of fight or explosion has occurred in here, that it's not a naturally occurring cavern, and there's just like most of the cavern is just coated in these crystals, like sort of crystal surface that has a glow to it, and in a few spots, like deep inside the crystal, there's just this darkness that is sort of pulsating, and as if something's trapped deep inside the crystal, like whether it's energy or something else.
Cool.
Yeah, and yeah, I guess we reverse it, and that some of the crystals are loose on the ground, like there's some loose sort of shards of crystal, which are glowing themselves, like glowing with this sort of eerie blue, sort of bluish greenish light. And I think Elamura picks up a few. Actually, Elamura probably turns to the Magus and sort of asks the Magus what they know of this. And yeah,
Pick someone.
does someone want to play the Magus? Jess, would you like to?
Yep. I
haven't
mean,
had much
Ash
to
is
do.
better at it, but sure.
I think River's like specifically avoiding all of these crystals, being like,
Yeah.
she finds them really distasteful. She's like River is like, these have the touch of death upon them. Like, I don't want to do that.
Actually, Ash, can you do it? Just for a minute while I get my head in the
Do you want me to do the
in the
Magus
space.
for the,
I
for
do,
this thing?
yeah.
Okay, alright, that's fine. So yeah, what was the question, Carrie?
Just whether the Magus knows what has caused these crystals to appear, and like what knows the history of this place.
Yeah, right. So the Magus is like, I was not here for what caused this. It was before my time. One of my predecessors, though, knew of it. These crystals are what is left over from great artificial warriors that fought a battle here.
Yes.
Sorry,
I was just like.
Yeah, men made of glass and and commanded by powerful wizards, friends on both sides of my predecessor. Now they do not even have the release of death. Fractions of their souls scattered amongst the stones.
I think, I think Caspian is like as the Magus is explaining this. I think Caspian is like leaning down and like sort of has also like picked up a couple of these loose stones, and is just kind of like rolling them around in their hands. Again, like where the seams are on their arms, the sort of like glow from the crystals is kind of like reflecting like up those lines, and sort of like kind of playing along their forearms, and they like kind of stand up and put one in their pocket, and they sort of step over to where Elamura and the Magus are, and they sign my ancestors.
Oh wow. And one other thing I wanted to note about the cavern is that none of the kobolds are anywhere near this place.
None of them come anywhere near it, 'cause it's like just stinks of death to them.
Yeah. But yeah, like after seeing Caspian pick up some of the shards, I think Elamura sort of asks, like, is it okay for me to sort of hold on to some of these shards, or is that disrespectful?
Is she asking the Magus or asking?
Asking Caspian.
Caspian sort of shrugs, like kind of, I don't know.
Okay.
And like the Magus is like, the friends of my predecessor wouldn't have minded. I'm sure they'd like to see the sun.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. I'll pick up a few shards and yeah, bring them along. Who knows? There might be a use for them.
Cool.
And yeah, that's my scene.
Yeah. That was very
Cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's your turn, Jess. What's
Mhm.
Fawn up to? Remember, you can
Yes,
double up on other ones if you want. Like, if you want to like retell, like tell a different thing with the same prompt. Or there is the one that hasn't been touched yet.
Yeah, I actually think I'm gonna go with the deep way, so the
Mhm.
changing darkness. This is me, right? I'm this bird.
Who's this bird?
Who's this bird?
Yeah.
What's this bird doing?
Anyway. Yeah. So I think as they've been walking through the cave, and more specifically, sort of the area with these crystals and stuff in it, that Fawn's been kind of hesitant to go near any of these things. Since her time at Castle Stormguard with her newly the powers that have been newly bestowed upon her, I think that her arms are still kind of glowing a little bit from the energy that she absorbed. And I think it's frightening her a little bit. Obviously, she's not frightened of the magic itself because, she already does some wacky water stuff. But I think it feels different in her veins. So, in a way, one of the ways that I'm interpreting the changing darkness is that it's kind of changing personally for her as well, because instead of sort of paying attention to the broader cave around her, she's been sort of looking down at her hands and her arms and seeing this energy sort of flow through, and she's not quite sure what to do with it. And she sees the others picking up the crystals, and she kind of takes a step back because she's confused by this energy. She doesn't quite know how it's going to react with anything. And I mean, these crystals look vaguely magical. So she's kind of hesitant, kind of keeping to herself. As everybody walks deeper through the cabin, I think that the crystals kind of the amount of crystals that are present sort of peters off, and there are still some scattered around, but it gets all over darker. Sometimes Fawn sort of looks out the side of her, look kind of like glances to the side, and she thinks she sees the darkness moving. But she's not sure, because when she looks back at herself, she just notices that the energy is moving again, and she's kind of casting shadows. So she's not really sure whether the walls around her are moving, or if it's just her new powers sort of playing tricks on her. But I think that she's hesitant to bring it up with anybody, because last time she showed someone that she had, well, not last time, but the first time she showed somebody that she had these magical powers, Caspian got really freaked out. So I think she's kind of trying to deal with it by herself, which means she's sort of just not saying much, just withdrawing from everybody. Except she looks at the walls, and this time she's pretty sure that she saw something moving, but she's not positive. So just really quietly, sort of at the back of the group, I think she turns to River, and she says, "Did you see something moving on the wall, or was that the night playing tricks on me?"
Yeah, and River's like, it's probably more kobolds. I don't know. This place is full of weirdness. I'm sure it's been more than a day now, and without the sun, I'm just confused. We should get out of here as fast as we can. And like, yeah, is that thing of like seeing like, because like River's got like, you know, the weary lines and like and on her face and things, or like she's a person who's like hardworking and no nonsense. And seeing her being like spooked is like, yeah, she's not used to being scared, or not in this way. She's used to knowing what she's scared of.
Yeah, so I think that probably would alarm Fawn a little bit, just kind of like, oh, all right. I think she kind of, you know, looks a bit shocked, and she says, if it's more kobolds though, we should be worried. We don't really have enough light to fend them off. Is that? I mean, I slept through most of what was happening last time we saw them, but it feels like we're kind of defenseless here. And I think she kind of opens up her voice a little bit to the wider group, and she sort of says, like, does anyone know how far, like, does anyone have any idea how much further this cave will go on?
I think actually, I reckon at this point, like, we've actually, I would say, I feel like maybe we've run out of the torches and we're just holding the glowing crystals. So like everyone's
like,
kind of like
the thing is, like, that's that.
Yeah, and River won't touch
refuses
them.
to touch them.
Yep.
And Fawn won't touch them either.
No wonder she's so scared. Yeah, exactly. So I think just like maybe Elamora and Caspian have some of these stones and are like holding them, like kind of up and ahead of them.
Like, you know, do we have anything to like defend ourselves? And like River just trips and like bashes her head on a rock and is like and it's like just starts swearing as she like tries to get up to like hands and knees with like blood running down her forehead or something.
Oh jeez.
She's like, look, I don't care if it's kobolds or ghosts in stones. I think we need to get our shits together and find a way out of here.
I think Fawn probably checks that she's okay, kind of reaches down to like help her up, and while she's down there, she picks up a small rock that's next to sort of the bit that River fell on, and she looks at it and she says, well, it looks like these can do some damage, so I guess we could use these to defend ourselves.
She's like, River's like, well, I'll leave you and Elamora to that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably also worth bringing up. I don't know if other people would be noticing the fact that Fawn's arms are like weirdly glowing. I
think maybe maybe like River like looks at your arms and like as like a, you know, you and Elamora are the intimidating ones. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she kind of looks down at her arms. I assume she would have told the party, you know, something about what happened to her. I imagine she would have come back and said, you know, oh, I went to this weird cave, well, basement. I don't really know what it was. Tomb. And yes, you're right. Tomb of the Storm King. Yes, and would have come up and said, "Oh, you know, something happened," but isn't
told that story in some way, and River's like referring to that, and I think at some point, like at some point in the past, she said something along the lines of like, you know, like there's more power in you than there should be right now. Be careful with it. It might be helpful here.
Yeah, and she probably really like took that to heart and kind of. It's clearly what's on her mind is that she's like, oh, I have this new thing happening now that's maybe more than I can handle. Yeah, I don't really know where the end of this story is going.
I think we're like we've seen like a change in your darkness.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. All right.
That's
Well,
a good place
we'll
to
just end my scene there then.
Yeah.
That's great. I like that.
Do you want to do my scene before break, or do you want to take a break now?
Let's do your scene and then take a break.
I'm going to do the Changing Darkness as well, because I think I want to do the moment where we see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, cool.
Because I think the first thing we see is stars. And like, yeah, we're walking through, and like, and yeah, the Magus like sighs quietly under her breath, and like, you know, in relief, and like River like perks up and it's like, what was that? Like, what's and like, you know, the Magus like points out the stars that are, like, there's like 2 stars visible like right next to each other, off in the distance, and River like, you know, like perks up. Oh, I should move my token. Sorry. River like perks up and is like, oh, thank God. All right, we're nearly there. Come on, let's go as quick as we can. And like, I think all this scene is just the 5, like trudging through, and I feel like there's like a kobold scampers up and like Fawn and Elamura like you know, give it a quick like growl or whatever, and like it scampers off, and like as then
I brandish the crystals.
yeah, exactly. do you do the like crackle your hands thing, Fawn? Like,
Yeah.
aggressively. Yeah.
Yeah, just aggressive, just like aggressive jazz hands, but like lightning jazz hands.
Danger jazz hands.
Channeling your Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I think what we see is like the same shot from behind of the 5 of them walking forwards, and it's just we cut and like we almost montage, but it's always from the same angle, and it's just as they get closer and closer to this entrance, and it goes from like being like stars to being like blue and then gray and then like and then like orange and then deep red sky as we approach the entrance to the cave, and like the Magus turns to Fawn as like, your people know this is a bad omen.
Yeah, I mean, I think Fawn nods and she says, yeah, this can only mean that the worst is yet to come.
Cool. And I think we cut there. And then it's gonna be Emily choose where we go. Do you want me to reveal what your options are, Emily?
Yeah, yes, please.
So Emily will be choosing between the deep dark. So we could take the underway, right? So like maybe this tunnel like leads to another. Pardon? I can't hear you. You're muted.
Sorry, is that what that little torch icon indicates?
Yeah.
Right.
Or Estalia, the sea.
Oh.
The sea.
Oh, of course we gotta go there.
Right,
Gotta
we'll
go there.
We'll see that next after our
Yep.
little break.
Yep. Cool.
Cool.